Welcome back to Double Down University. I'm back with you guys with another KBO PrizePicks video for the Saturday slate. I have 4 props that I really like for you guys. The first one being An Ching Chung over 2 hits, runs, and RBIs, as well as Jarrett Young are going to be today's future cover boy. For our thumbnail, Jarrett Young over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, as well as Park Min-woo. We're going to go right back on the Park Min-woo bandwagon. He's been electric so far. Really seeing the ball really well. So we're going to go back to him again tonight. And a favorable matchup too as well. And then also last but not least, Charlie Barnes. Now I don't play a lot of pitcher strikeouts because they could be dependent on how good your defense is as well. Being as though a bad inning or just a bad play in the field, an error can kind of submit your pitcher to throwing more pitches than he needs to get out of an inning. So that's why I don't really run too many strikeout props, because a lot of that is defensive dependent, if I said that right. So it's dependent on your defense to be able to help you get quick innings and be able to not throw as many pitches. That way you can go deeper into the ball game. So let's get into it. So I start off with our cover boy, Mr. Jarrett Young. So Jarrett Young is new to KBO. He's only had 39 plate appearances in KBO. So all his numbers is pretty much super inflated, as he has a 20% walk rate, which is insane. 17% K rate, which is really well. Shows you he's seeing the ball. He's not striking out a lot. He's putting the ball in play. And when you have hits, runs, and RBIs, that's all you can ask for, is somebody just to put the ball in play and get on base. That's all we're looking for. So that's why on base percentage is huge, as he has an inflated on base percentage of 0.513. So that is really good. And then I touched on this last night. WRC plus, the average for WRC plus is 100. He's at 231, so that's insane. So that means he's killing the ball. And then he goes up against a pitcher who is horrible, and he follows the metrics. If you guys been following along with the KBO videos, my 3 metrics that I like to use: left on base percentage, low K percentage, and high walk rate. So he has he's a better strikeout pitcher than I would like, but he's 21%, but he has a high walk rate at 9%. But the thing about it is he meets 2 out of the 3 criteria, as he has a left on base percentage under 70% at 67.3. So that bodes well for us too. And then also it shows us that he's outperforming his metrics, so he is getting a little lucky, as his FIP score is 506. So in this league, FIP scores is huge, because it kind of takes into account what the pitcher does and not necessarily what the defense does, because I just recently touched on the errors and the horrible play in the field that a lot of these defenses play. So FIP score is better than your ERA. As you can see, his ERA is actually 3.46. So, and his expected ERA is 4.45. So he's going over his expected line. So we expect him to regress to his mean, to the type of pitcher that he is. And then one thing that tells me a lot about him too is that when I look into his situational stats, his with runners on base, look at this. So with runners on base, he's giving up a 288 batting average. With runners or bases empty, 244. And then runners in scoring position, he's giving up a 356 batting average. That tells it all. That's why his FIP score is so high, and that's why his expected ERA is so high, is because he's been getting lucky, getting out of a bunch of innings. So I don't think that's going to be the case today, especially against Mr. Jarrett Young. So I like him a lot today. As I previously told you guys, he would be the cover boy of today's thumbnail video. And then moving forward to our next matchup, we have Won Tae Choi, who is going up against Park Min-woo. And in this matchup, he has a really favorable matchup as well, as Choi only has a 17% K rate and 11% walk rate. So that's ridiculous. He walks a lot of batters. That shows you doesn't have control, and it also reflects in his whip, as the average whip is 1.30. He's at 1.54. So that shows in his whip. And then he also has a 70% left on base percentage, which is not bad. But his FIP score, like I said, it tells it all. His FIP score is 5.35, which is horrendous. And then also, I don't think do they have any more advanced metrics on him. His expected FIP is 5.44. So that basically tells you that he's outperforming his stats as well. And then with Park Min-woo, he bats 300 against lefties. He has 1 home run, 5 RBIs, 12 walks. So he's doing really well against both lefties and righties. Now he's crushing righties, but 300 batting average, you can't really frown upon that. He's getting on base, and that's his claim to fame. And then looking at his advanced stats as well, we went over it yesterday. But he's just seeing the ball really well. He has 11% walk rate, only 15% K rate, so that's pretty good. He's not going to give away a free at bat due to a strikeout. He has a on base percentage of .424, and if you see the trend, we're taking batters with over 400 or above on base percentage, because they will get on base, and all we need is their people or their protection around them in the order or the lineup to be able to bring them in, whether it's the people in front of them to put themselves in scoring position, to put them in an advantageous situation where a hit will be able to get us 2 hits, runs, and RBIs or more if they happen to go yard. And then also his WRC plus is really good at 133. So we're going to go right back on his train. Now moving forward to last but not least, the third hitter on our props is Mr. Chi Chong Ah. I think that's how you say it. Chi Hung Ah. If I'm saying it wrong, God forgive me, but that is how that's how I pronounce his name. So he plays for Hanwha Eagle. We're just gonna call him Mr. Hanwha Eagle for today, to kind of avoid all that. So he's going up against Inbong Kim, and same thing with him. Has really ridiculous numbers, as his K percentage is 8%, so he doesn't strike out daggone near anybody. His walk rate is 9%, almost 10%, so that bodes well for us as well. He gives a batting average of almost 300 at 289, and then his whip, like I said, the average whip is 1.30. He's at 1.61, so he's over the whip. And then also his left on base percentage is 73, but like I said, a lot of that he's outperforming his metrics, and one big telltale sign of that is that his FIP score is 6.13. So he is horrendous. His xFIP is actually higher than that, so his expected FIP score is 6.66. I don't think I've ever seen anything that high. Even in Major League Baseball, the trash can turkey tosser pitchers, they haven't been that high. So I really like for him to do work against him. And then for Mr. Hanwha Eagle, as I previously said, we're going to call him for the rest of the video. He only has a 13% K rate. He has an 8% walk rate, which is really good. And then he also has an on-base percentage of 375, which I live with that. It's not 400. It's not, elite, but that is elite in my book. Anything over, 350 or higher, that's elite. And then also he has a WRC plus of 110, so not bad. He's 10 points over the average. So I really like him in this spot. I like him over his teammate Rowe, because Rowe strikes out a lot and he wastes a lot of at bats due to strikeouts. So he's going to be able to put the ball in play. He's not a big home run hitter, as he only has 10 home runs on the season. But the big thing that stands out to me is against righties, he bats 306, which is a drastic split as opposed to lefties, as he only bats 278 to lefties. So I like him against righties a whole lot better. And then also, it's not the split that we want as far as the pitcher, as he gives up more power or more average to lefties as opposed to righties. But I just think that he will be able to get to him regardless of lefty or righty split, because runners in scoring position, he gives up a 367 batting average, and then bases empty, he still gives up a 319 batting average. So that it could lead to him getting 2 base hits and scoring and be able to cash that over. And then also runners in scoring position, he's giving up a 260 batting average with runners on only at second base. He's giving up a 381 batting average. So really like him. Now on to final, last but not least, our pitcher strikeout, which is Charlie Barnes. So Charlie Barnes, right? He has an elite strikeout rate, as if he pitched the full 9 innings, he averaged around 11 strikeouts a game. He only has averages 2 walks per game, which is really good. That shows that he has control and he's not going to waste a bunch of pitches. And then he has, look at this, he has a 30% K rate. I don't think I've ever seen that, unless like you see like the dominant pitchers in Major League Baseball, and some of them may not even come close to 30%. They might be in the 28, 29 range. but he has a 6% walk rate, which is elite. And look at his whip. Like I was just telling you guys, the average whip is 1.30. He's at 1.14, so that is elite. And then look at his left on base percentage, is absolutely elite at 82%. His FIP score is 3.68, which is good as well. So he is all around a good pitcher. But one thing that stuck out to me when I was looking into his just his past history, if he had any past history with this team against KT. Now, granted, KT is the third highest strikeout team in the KBO. And one thing that stuck out to me is he has went over this line of 6.5 every game that he's played them for the last 2 years. The only time he went under, and it was by 0.5, which is back in 2022. And he missed by by half a point or half of a strikeout, which was he got 6 instead of 6.5. Or 7, as I should say. And as you can see here, last time he faced him, I think he had 10, or he had 9 last time he faced him. And then the time before that, because we've reached the point in the season where it's getting close to playoff time, so each team has played each other at least once or twice, especially have pitched to them. Yep, he had 10 the game before that. And then dating back, you want to take it back a little further, back to last year, he played him one time, and I think he had like 8, I want to say. Last year, 2023, he had, there it is. So right here, he had 8. Yep, he had 8. So he had 8, 9, and 10 the last 3 head-to-head matchups against them. And then he went under by 0.5 in the 2022 matchup. So I really like him just based off of numbers. Now, granted, his defense has to show up today in order for him to go deeper into the game and be able to have more opportunities to have more strikeouts later in the game, deeper into the game. So those are my 4. I go over them again. We have Mr. Hanwha Eagle, as I'm going to call him, An Chen Hung, over 2 hits, runs, and RBIs. We have Jarrett Young, over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, as well as Park Min-woo, over 2 hits, runs, and RBIs, and Charlie Barnes, over 6.5 strikeouts, pitcher strikeouts. So I appreciate you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, and best of luck. And I'll see you guys next time.